Hey there, and welcome to This Explainer. I'm Michelle, and today we're diving into a topic that's becoming incredibly relevant for so many of us, but honestly, it rarely gets the airtime it deserves. We're talking about what it actually means to navigate aging and housing when you don't have that traditional family safety net. As an SRES advisor, that stands for Seniors Real Estate Specialist, I see firsthand how taking the wheel on this process can turn uncertainty into absolute rock-solid confidence. So let's get right into it. I want you to just sit with this question for a second. Who would help you if you fell and couldn't get to the phone? It's a simple question, right? But if you're drawing a blank on an immediate answer, please know you are not alone. In fact, for so many folks I work with, this one single question is the real catalyst. It's usually the exact light bulb moment where true intentional planning for the future actually begins. Okay, let's dive into this. Look at this data from AARP. Right now, a whopping 21% of American adults 50 and older are living alone, completely without a spouse or partner in the home. If you've been sitting there feeling like you're the only one trying to figure out this whole future thing on your own, this proves otherwise. You're actually part of a massive, rapidly growing demographic shift. To put that into perspective, we're talking about roughly 24 million Americans. 24 million! That's enough people to fill Chicago multiple times over, all navigating the exact same questions and decisions as you. There is absolutely no way we should attach any stigma to this. It's just the reality of modern aging, and it simply means we need to swap out our tools and approach the future a little differently. Section 1, Defining the Solo Ager. You are not alone in this journey. Now, the label solo ager might be kind of new, but the reality of this lifestyle, it's always been around. Basically, a solo ager is an adult 50 or older who lives alone without a spouse, partner, or children nearby to help with decisions or care. And people get to this phase of life through so many different paths. Maybe you never married or had kids, maybe you're widowed or divorced, or hey, maybe you do have kids, but they're estranged or they live 5 states away. There's no single story here, just a shared set of practical questions we all need to answer. And this trend is only picking up speed. Harvard researchers actually estimate that by 2038, the majority, yes, the majority of Americans 80 and older will be solo agers. That is a profound shift, folks. It means that old traditional assumption, that a spouse or an adult child will just automatically be there to step in, that's changing. But recognizing this shift isn't something to be afraid of. Actually, scratch that, it's the absolute best starting point for empowered, realistic planning. Section 2. The housing question. Why where you live matters more than ever. Because you don't have that built-in nearby backup plan, your choices about where you live carry so much more weight. Take a woman I'll call Carol. She's 68, a widow in the south suburbs. Super healthy, active, just loves her independence. Her only son, he lives all the way in Arizona. Well, one day a friend hit her with that exact catalyst question. Who would help you if you fell and couldn't get to the phone? Carol realized she honestly didn't have an answer. That was a huge wake-up call for her, and it completely shifted how she looked at her living situation. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how it perfectly captures what's on everyone's minds. This 2023 AARP survey, cited by Harvard Health, shows that 78% of folks worry about losing their independence. 60% are stressing about not being able to stay in their current home. Yet, only 41% actually have a living will or advanced directive set up. Housing sits right at the very center of all these fears, tying together affordability, physical accessibility, and that big risk of social isolation. Think about your typical family house. A big 2-story place with steep stairs, a massive yard that constantly needs mowing, and rooms that just sit there gathering dust. When you're flying solo, if you're struggling with a heavy laundry basket on those stairs, there's no one else around to notice. Physical accessibility matters so much more in this scenario. Simply switching to a single-story layout or moving to a really walkable neighborhood can fundamentally change your daily safety equation. So this brings us to a really vital comparison. Aging in place by default versus aging in place by design. Listen, aging in place can be a fantastic option, but it shouldn't just happen by default, meaning you just stay put because moving feels way too overwhelming to tackle by yourself. Aging in place by design means you're making proactive, deliberate choices about your safety and your community right now, rather than just waiting for some sort of health crisis to force a rush decision down the line. Section 3. Essential legal documents. Protecting your independence and choices. To truly design your future, we've got to talk about the legal stuff. And I know paperwork sounds boring, but getting this in order doesn't limit your freedom. It literally builds a fortress around it. So the crucial point is securing these 2 specific documents. First up, a durable power of attorney, which lets someone handle your finances if you suddenly can't. Second, a healthcare proxy or advance directive for medical calls. And if you're sitting there thinking, but Michelle, I don't have a kid to name for this, that is totally fine. You can appoint a trusted friend, a niece, a nephew, or even hire a professional fiduciary. It's really important to look objectively at what happens if you skip these documents. Elder law experts tell us that if you can't make decisions and you haven't formally appointed someone, a court might have to step in and appoint a guardian for you. And let me tell you, that process is usually a lot slower, way more expensive, and far more disruptive to your life than anyone expects. Handling it today keeps the power exactly where it belongs, in your hands. Section 4. Building your support system, creating your own just-in-case community. Okay, so with the legal foundation forward, let's look outward. The solo agers who absolutely thrive, they do it through intentional connection. Building this network doesn't require a spouse or a child. It just takes a little intention. Your just-in-case community could be a great neighbor who checks in, a close friend who acts as your proxy, or even a local senior center that does routine wellness calls. Sometimes just downsizing to a smaller home or moving into a 55-plus community bakes that socialization right into your everyday environment.
Let's move to how this builds in real life and check back in with Carol. She didn't try to solve the whole puzzle overnight. First, she took a big step and named a close friend as her healthcare proxy. Second, she joined a walking group twice a week. Boom, instant social connection and accountability. Third, she started proactively touring smaller ranch-style homes right near her friend's neighborhood. She perfectly combined her legal prep and her real estate goals into one positive, actionable strategy.
Section 5. Your next steps. Moving forward with intention and confidence. I really want to flip the script here. Let's reframe solo aging from being some kind of deficit into exactly what it is, a unique, incredible opportunity. Solo aging is the freedom to live life entirely on your own terms. It's a lifestyle that deserves to be honored, not treated like a problem you need to fix. As your SRES advisor, my biggest piece of advice is this. Whatever your setup looks like right now, you don't have to figure out every single answer today. Just taking one small step moves you forward with so much more confidence than waiting ever will. And this brilliantly illustrates why having the right information is just a game changer. I actually offer a completely free resource library. It's packed with guides on downsizing, aging in place, checking out senior living options, and dedicated resources for homeowners over 50. These guides really help connect the dots between your legal, financial, and real estate choices. And of course, quick disclaimer here, every situation is unique, so please always chat with a qualified CPA or a state attorney before you make any major financial or legal leaps. So I'm going to leave you with this to chew on. What is one intentional step you can take today to protect your independence and design your future? Maybe it's calling up a friend to chat about proxy roles, or hey, maybe it's finally decluttering that spare room. Whatever it is, you hold the power to design a truly incredible, independent future. Thank you so much for hanging out with me for this explainer, and I can't wait to help you take that next step.